When we go to the cinema, we go to leave one space behind and enter another space. That is obviously one of the principal delights of film going, of watching a moving image, is the possibility that we will be able to enter another space. And so cinema is forever staging that, often quite concretely as we see Renaissance painting staging that. A film may emphasize an architectural structure or a surface or a threshold so as to stage our entry into the film.
They echo and they fade.
At the very beginning of Douglas Sirk's Written on the Wind, which was released in 1956, as we move into the film, what we're doing is we're moving towards the threshold of a house. In this film, it's the Hadley Mansion, this enormous mansion. And so the film brings us right up to the very threshold. The door is open. We can see the vestibule beyond, and we realize this is the world that we're entering. And the film is really staging that possibility of entering this world for us. When we look at Antonello's St. Jerome in his study, what we have is this wonderful possibility of moving into the world of this picture. As we move into the picture, we notice these small details of everyday life that seem to splinter the picture into not only into different smaller spaces inside the larger totality of the image, but also into different times. So if we notice his slippers at the bottom of the stairs leading up to the platform, we sort of imagine the moment at which he might have taken those off. But if we move deeper into the image, we see also the landscape in the very background that's framed for us by the windows that are on the left and the right-hand side of the image. And so there's a sort of another temporality, the sort of ongoingness of everyday life that clearly mirrors back to us the ongoingness of our everyday life from where we stand in front of the picture. So suddenly, there's not just the present moment of St. Jerome in the center of the image, there's a sort of splintering of narrative time across the image, and so it becomes much more complicated. We see something, very similar in cinema. So, for instance, if we think about sort of the wonderful scenes of Laura Meredith's living room in Douglas Sirk's 1959 Imitation of Life, there's this vast, overwhelming, wealthy, suburban sort of mansion. There's actually too much to see all at once. Even though the images kind of move by rather fleetingly, they impress us with the sense of wanting to kind of arrest the image and make it our own and be able to sort of scour its surfaces with our eyes in a way that's not unlike what we do with the Renaissance painting. So one thing that's very clear from looking at Renaissance painting, particularly Renaissance paintings that have privileged the architectural in some way, is that this is where cinematic space is born. This is where, in a sense, the cinema comes from. That the pleasure of these paintings consists in the possibility that one will enter into this space in all of its detail and all of its manifold variety and depth. And I think that the pleasure of cinema clearly is the same pleasure, and that what cinema promises us is what the Renaissance painting promises us, which is that we can enter into a world and apprehend a world with if only with our eyes. I think that's why we return again and again to these images, both to these paintings and to the cinema, is this possibility of entering something, if only imaginatively.